In the land of Okani, two elders were going to a village council meeting when they met with Ogbuanu the village hunter, with a fat bush meat in his right hand and his hunting gun and sword in his left hand. The elders praised him as a good career hunter he always be. That moment, Ogbuanu decided to honor them with the meat. The elders happily received it and praised the gods for Ogbuanu. Eke Market Day was a very special day for the women of Okani land. It was a day that husbands show love to their wife by giving them money and sending them to Eke Market. Okam was a good man. He gave Nkechi his wife huge money for the market and left to farm. Nkechi instructed her children to fetch water from the stream before she comes back. And the children, knowing how beautiful Eke Market Day meant to the family, they rushed to the stream with their water pots, dreaming to come back before their mother so she could prepare a good meal. And it was around sunset that Nkechi came back. No water in the house. The children are not back. And she became angry. She got a cane to discipline her children. She ranted all day until she met with some children coming back from the stream. She inquired about her own children, and nobody accepted seeing them all day. This until her husband returned back in the evening, and it occurred to her that something is wrong. Okam and Nkechi sought for the children for days, and nothing was discovered about them. It was really a bad omen. As the family was crying for those children day after day, people kept coming, consoling them, giving the family hope over the children's return. Ogbuanu the village hunter was a day hunting some miles away from the village stream. Waves and winds were creating natural sounds. Birds on the tree were singing. Cool breezes were coming from the stream side. Then he decided to have his lunch under a cool tree. As he was about to start eating his roasted yam and red oil, he looked forward. Behold, a water pot and neck beads. He went and picked them, and he said, "These are one of the expensive beads bought from Eke Market, which are supplied by foreigners. Who could be the owner of these? These are quite expensive, and they are beautiful." Ogbuanu spoke to himself. He took the beads and the water pot to his mother. Okam, the father of the missing children, has not rested for days. He ran towards the palace to report to His Royal Majesty, but the entrance guard did not give him access. He was thrown off when he tried forcing himself in. Okam ran to his friend, who was a member of the royal cabinet. His friend got the information and took him to the king of the land, Igwe Obako. The king was kind-hearted and was loved by everyone. He felt the pain of Okam, who lost his two sons in one day. The king said to him, "Okam, the great farmer of our land, stop crying and stop weeping like a child. As far as I am the king of this land of Okani, your children will come back to you alive." Immediately Okam heard that, his strength was restored, and he prostrated before the king of the guard. The king gave instruction to one of his guards to summon the town crier with immediate effect. When the town crier came, he was told to make announcement around the village, calling on everyone. On the cool of evening, the town crier went round the village, making announcement, and thus he said, "Igwe Obako, the king of our land, is calling on everyone to be at the village square before noon tomorrow. Nobody is permitted to go to the market or to the farm. Ogbuanu and his mother, if anyone is seen disobeying the of their house," when they heard the town crier making announcement, they went close to him to hear him. Other villagers were also listening to the announcement of the town crier. Early the next morning, Igwe Obako sat at the village square with all his royal cabinets and guards. The queen also was seated beside the king in her royal apparel. Some men and women are already seated, while some are just coming. Children are not left out. Ogbuanu and his mother were present. Okama and Nkechi, his wife, were also there, while some friends are consoling them. The king stood in majesty and greeted the people of the land. The king loudly made a royal promise to anyone who could bring useful information about the disappearance of the sons of Okam. The person will be given 2 plots of land from the royal properties, and his family will be exempted from tax paying for a decade. The whole villagers desired to find out about the sons of Okam and to receive that royal reward. Ogbuanu boldly told his mother that he will be the one to find those children and he will be given a royal recognition. He picked up his hunting items and left to the bush in search of those children. Ogbuanu worked all day looking for a way to get information and to grab that offer, but nothing was achieved. Ogbuanu's mother had a friend called Urunwa. Urunwa was a village gossiper. She told her friend Urunwa about the bead and the pot picked by her son in the bush, and she's going to the market to sell it that day. Urunwa hurried and left to Ogbuanu's house. His mother left to Eke market. Urunwa ran to Okam's house and met his wife Nkechi. Nkechi was not happy seeing Urunwa in her house because she was not a good woman. Urunwa said to Nkechi, "Did your children wear bead to the stream?" Nkechi responded desperately, "Yes. Did you see my children or their beads?" Urunwa smiled. "Ogbuanu must be responsible for your children's disappearance. Let's go to Eke's market. His mother is about to sell some neck beads." Nkechi and Urunwa hurried to the market. Lo, Ogbuanu's mother about selling some beads. Nkechi held her and dragged her around the market. The news got to the king, and he sent his guard for the arrest of Ogbuanu's mother and to bring back the bead. Urunwa was very happy and was hoping to be rewarded by His Royal Highness for getting an information about the 2 sons of Okam. That same evening, the entire village was in tension. Ogbuanu's mother was forced to sit on the ground by the royal guards. She was surrounded by the king and the villagers. Okam came from behind and gave her a hot slap, ordering her to speak up about the way of her children. Ogbuanu's mother wept that very day, and the beads were held as an evidence against her. Ogbuanu was coming back from the hunting. He came back and met the royal guard in his compound. He was shocked and confused also. The guard ordered him to open their hut, which he did, and the pot was taken along. The guard forced Ogbuanu to the village square and sat with his mother on the ground. Everyone surrounded them, rained curses on them. Ogbuanu and his mother were locked up in the palace prison, undergoing interrogation to confess what they did to the children of Okam, but they claimed not knowing anything about their disappearance. Okam invited Urunwa to his house. She was served a good dish. Okam also promised her a ban of yam if she would be able to find out where Ogbuanu and his mother kept their sons. Urunwa became village celebrity because everyone believed. One day, the king became very angry and he gave an order to stone Ogbuanu's mother in the presence of his son, because the king and all his cabinet believed that they had hand in the disappearance of those children. Ogbuanu and his mother has not eaten for days. They were beaten by the guards to confess, but they refused to accept killing of those children. The poor woman was stoned to death in the witnessing of his son Ogbuanu, yet he did not accept knowing anything about those children. Ogbuani was thrown back to prison. One day, Nneka and Obi were going to wash clothes in the stream. As they were walking on the village track road to the stream, the grasses began to shake. The wind increased and the tall trees were shaking too. Nneka and Obi are two female friends. They started running back home. As they were running, Nneka, who was behind, turned and saw a strange hand stretched to grab her. She screamed and threw away her bucket of clothes. Obi also threw hers. As they were running faster, but Nneka was caught while Obi sustained bruises. Though she escaped to the village, she ran into her father's compound and there she fainted. Her parents ran to her. They invited a herbalist for quick medication. She couldn't talk and nobody knew what happened to her nor anything about her friend, Nneka. All the villagers became afraid. They stopped going to the stream and to their farms. The king got the news and deployed the village warriors to the stream side for security. Urunwa, the mother of Nneka, whom was grabbed by that strange hand, Urunwa cried her eyes out. She ran to the king and reported her case. The king promised her to add more to her reward if she could be able to find out what was happening in the stream side. Urunwa became frustrated. She told the king to forget about the reward and help her get her daughter back as soon as possible. As the warriors of Ukani land was on ambush by the stream sides, two warriors of Ishaku land came to the stream, waiting for an unfortunate person to enter. Ishaku is a small community nearest to Ukani. Urunwa wasn't aware of the warriors of Ukani land, nor the two warriors of Ishaku land, because all were hiding. She came looking for Nneka, her only child. One of the warriors of Ishaku land grabbed her. She screamed, "Gods of our land, save me." As she was struggling, the warrior dragged her towards their own community. That was when the warriors of Ukani came out of their ambush, chasing after the warriors of Ishaku land. They began to exchange arrows. Then the warrior of Ishaku used Urunwa and protected himself. An arrow pierced into her body. She bleeded to death. The warriors of Ishaku saw the crowd of warriors of Ukani, and they took to their hill. As they were running towards the hill, the warriors of Ukani captured them. The warriors of Ukani sang victorious song as they entered the palace of Igwe Obaku, with the two men of Ishaku tied in both hands. The warriors of Ishaku were beaten until they confessed kidnapping the children of Okam and Nneka, the daughter of Urunwa. The king seized them in his prison. The land of Ukani and Ishaku had been in great land dispute. This has been enemies for years. Ishaku people are claiming to own the stream and some part of Ukani forest, but Ukani people refused their claim. They were banned not to attend or trade in their popular Eke market all these years. That was why the men and warriors of Ishaku land started kidnapping children of Ukani land from the stream. The king of Ishaku came pleading for the release of the warriors who were in prison of Ukani palace. He was given the condition to release the children of Okam. The two children of Okam came back wearing their beads and carrying their water pots.